Good evening, everyone present and watching online. I would like to call the Monday, March 23rd, 2026 Blue Springs Planning Commission meeting to order. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Tracy.
Of course. Ingersoll?
Present.
Commissioner Pumphrey? Commissioner Stokenberry?
Present.
Commissioner Richel?
Present.
Commissioner Sanderson? Commissioner Cradoff?
Present.
Commissioner Graham? Commissioner Howe?
Present.
Chairperson Henning?
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. At this time, I would entertain a motion on the consent agenda for approval for the March 9th, 2026 meeting minutes.
So move.
I have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, thank you. Before we get started on the evening, I want to take a quick moment and tell everybody, in case you're not watching YouTube, Blue Springs put in an Eagle Cam last year, and this last weekend, the Eagle pair had their first two babies. So it's a big deal, and if you're not watching, hop on YouTube and just search Blue Springs Eagle Cam. It's a fun and exciting times in regards to eagles in the city of Blue Springs. All right, having said that, I will move right on into the agenda. I will open the public hearing for agenda items number 4 and 8, rezoning RZ 02269805 and the General Development Plan GDP 02269806 for Sullivan Ranch with the preliminary plat PP 02269807 being heard concurrently. I will ask for exhibits from our city attorney, Jennifer.
Mr. Chairman, we have 5 exhibits to enter in the record right now. The first is the staff report. Second is the publication affidavit. Third is the notification map of 185-foot properties. Fourth is the 185-foot property owner list. And lastly, the 185-foot property owner letter.
Thank you, Jennifer. And it looks like Ms. Fry is ready for our presentation.
Good evening, Chairperson and members of Planning Commission. Before you this evening is a request for a rezoning, a general development plan, and a preliminary plat for Sullivan Ranch Development, which is located east of Southeast Wyatt Road and east of Southeast Litchford Road. The property is currently zoned Ag County, which is the agricultural county. The first request is to rezone the subject property from the AGC, the agricultural county, to an SF12, which is the large lot single-family residential district. The property consists of 2 total parcels with a total of approximately 70.15 plus or minus acres and is currently undeveloped. The proposal is consistent with the city's 2014 comprehensive plan, which identifies this property within the S2 specific area plan, a key part of the city's southern growth corridor. The comprehensive plan envisions the S2 area as a collection of well-connected, low-density residential neighborhoods that balance new housing with the preservation of natural features and open spaces. The plan emphasizes the neighborhood connectivity, diverse lot sizes, and access to trails and amenities. The future land use policy map designates this property for a low-density residential development defined as less than 5 dwelling units per acre. The proposed development has a residential density of 2.1 dwelling units per acre, which meets the intent and directly implements the city's comprehensive plan long-range vision for this area. The project also fulfills the comprehensive plan's broader goals to strengthen the neighborhood identity through design and open space features, enhance connectivity with trail and sidewalk networks, and promote coordinated infrastructure investment that supports orderly growth. Sullivan Ranch reflects the comprehensive plan's goal of transforming an undeveloped land in the southern area into a cohesive and walkable neighborhood while maintaining the city's quality of life standards. The proposal also supports the city's strategic plan of 2025-2030, specifically the balanced growth priority, which focuses on growing the community strategically and proactively, identifying areas that can be effectively served by infrastructure and municipal services. This property lies within the South Area Sewer Neighborhood District, the NID, Neighborhood Improvement District, established by the city to provide sanitary sewer services and funding for approximately 1,530 acres of a planned development. The NID was designed to accommodate detached single-family housing at a density proposed, ensuring that the infrastructure capacity is available to support the project. This development proposes 151 large lot detached single-family homes with a density of the 2.1 as mentioned before. The open space and amenities is a total of 9.53 acres of open space and provided across 7 open tracks to include the walking trail around the property with connectivity to the sidewalks. And there is a walking trail around the detention basins, and then there's green spaces located throughout the development. The applicant is requesting a waiver regarding the established rear setback from the 30 feet, which is in the SF-12, to a 25-foot setback on the requested lots in the staff report. This reduction is for the rear setback that would provide an adequate space for rear patios and decks, since these lots are all adjacent to dedicated open space, while still maintaining an overall parcel boundary. The applicant is also requesting a waiver in order to deviate from the SF-12 zoning district standard requested in the reduction in the lot width for the cul-de-sac front building line for the 4 lots that are listed in the staff report. The development will have 2 access points, one located along East Wyatt Road and a secondary access along South Litchford Road, both providing direct vehicular access to the proposed subdivision. Full roadway improvements will be required along East Wyatt Road consistent with the city's roadway standards. The improvements will include a dedication of a 60-foot right-of-way and construction of the full roadway section. South Litchford Road will require a half roadway improvements that includes the installation of curb and gutter with a sidewalk along the development's frontage. In addition, South Litchford Road shall be modified as necessary to provide an adequate sight distance from the proposed southern entrance, consistent with the traffic study that's been submitted. Harris Potts Road will also require half-road improvements to include along the development frontage, including curb and gutter and an installation of a sidewalk on this frontage. The applicant will construct new public improvements, including roadway extensions, stormwater basins meeting the APW 5600 standards, and sewer extensions to connect to the NID system. Homes will include a mix of 1- and 2-story designs with stone and siding materials of higher quality. The proposed minimum livable floor area is 1,600 square feet, which is an only 1 classification step down lower than the adjacent Hoot Owl Meadows subdivision and consistent with the UDC transition standards. Staff has reviewed the proposal for compliance with the comprehensive plan, the UDC, and finds that the proposed rezoning from AGC to an SF-12 is consistent with the comprehensive plan and surrounding residential zoning and recommends approval with conditions that are listed in the staff report. The general development plan complies with all the UDC requirements, except the deviations listed and modifications requested for the 151 single-family residential lots, open space tracts, adequate utilities, infrastructure, and public services that exist or will plan to serve the development. And staff recommends approval with the 3 conditions listed in the staff report. The preliminary plat meets all the subdivision design standards and it incorporates sound engineering and urban design principles, and staff recommends approval of the 19 conditions listed in the staff report. The applicant is here and I'd be happy to answer any questions, but before that I do have elevations. This is elevation 1 of a concept of what the plans would look, or the houses would look like. This is the rear elevation. Oh, excuse me. There's the rear. And then an elevation of another. And the rear of that one would be of that concept. And so, like I said, the applicant is here, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for staff before we hear from the applicant?
I have a question. Can you explain to me about the general traffic study? How does that tie into, that's done originally. I read something where later on, some kind of traffic study is done for the schools.
Yeah, so they will be resubmitting an additional traffic study once there is approval of a general development plan. So that will be required before they actually go into approval of a site plan.
Why are those done separately? I know in the past, we've had certain developments and we have concerns about traffic studies.
I think sometimes they do it separately, depending on timing. The original development of this, as you remember when it came the first time under the SF7, had that traffic study. And so now they want to wait until there's at least approval before investing additional money into a study if they don't have approval.
So this development has come before us in the past. What's changed since then?
So it went from an SF7 to an SF12, 218 lots to 151 lots now.
Oh, thank you.
Who's responsible for the roads? Is that Blue Springs, MoDOT, county? For Litchford and Wyatt, sorry.
For Litchford and Wyatt, it will be the city.
The city? And the developer is saying they're going to basically pave and redo one half of each road, right?
Yeah, that's what we require of all subdivision, would only be the half that's adjacent to their property. We can't require a full road when it shares with Hoot Owl Meadow.
Is Hoot Owl redoing the road on their side?
Yes.
So both Wyatt and Litchford?
No, Wyatt will be the extension of Wyatt will all be of Sullivan Ranch. And then Litchford, half of it will be Sullivan Ranch and the other half will be Hoot Owl.
Okay, so all the roads in that area, Litchford and Wyatt, are in the next however long getting redone. They're not.
Yeah, so those public improvements will be,
drop-offs.
yeah, those public improvements will be required before an approval of a final plat.
How much yard are these houses? I guess that's probably a builder question.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah. That's all I got.
All right, hearing and seeing nothing else up here, would the applicant like to come forth and talk about the project?
Do we need to be sworn in?
We don't.
Nope.
Oh, cool. Robert Walkles with Quist Engineering. Thank you for taking the time. It's pretty much the same subdivision, just, you know, a lot less lots, a lot less traffic, more green space, more trails. It's a standard subdivision pretty much, so nothing exciting.
So we're talking really small side yards, front yard, backyards for the most part?
No, well, for
Because I'm looking at the house size, I'm looking at the plot going,
they're 100-foot lots. Your typical lot is 70 to 75 on a standard subdivision in the city. This is a large estate lot, kind of not 5 acres or something like that, but it's a larger lot. And then your setbacks from your side yards are 15 feet. So it's a lot further away. So they're 30 feet apart. Your front yard setbacks are 30 foot instead of a 25. So just more space between the houses, looks a little more spacious.
yeah.
If memory serves me correctly, there was concern last time about the number of houses you were trying to put in there. Is that correct?
Correct,
And
correct.
so you've come down significantly.
Significantly,
Thank
yes.
you.
There's some concerns about our water and sewer systems in Blue Springs, I'm sure you're aware of. How does that tie into your project? Do you foresee any problematic issues?
No, we went through a very extensive storm drainage study for the storm water. Water would be District 13, I believe. We've talked to them. They have plenty of water in that area. I talked to their engineer, and he's confident in that. Sanitary sewer, you have a lift station in that area. This land is part of the TIF, or part of the sewer district. And the lift station is actually on Hoot Owl. So we have to run the line a couple thousand feet to get to that lift station, if Hoot Owl doesn't bring it to us first, so. But other than that, I think we've addressed all those issues.
Thank you.
There appears to be, I don't know, somewhere around 50 to 60 lots with 20-foot rear setback instead of 30. Can you talk to us why there's so many and what the need was?
Yeah,
there?
because we put basically a 25 to 50-foot buffer around the whole property.
You mean on the whole
So it's
outskirts?
landscape easement in the backyard, so it allows that person to put a patio or a deck, you know, because they're not allowed in that setback to put the deck on there, so it just gives them that extra 5 feet, because they do have, it didn't affect the ones interior, it just affected the ones that have back up to green space. That was the only request there.
That's all I have. Anybody else? Thank you. All right, our public hearing is open. We're gonna hear from y'all out there now. Please remember that when you get up, you state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes to talk. You can use it however you wish. There's a timer on the top right-hand corner of the big screen, and out of respect for everybody here, we're gonna try to hold close to that 3 minutes, very close. If you run over, I'll give you a little bit of grace, but we'll be cutting you off within 30 seconds of that 3 minutes. So, having said that, is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak in favor of this project? Seeing and hearing none, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in opposition to this project? All right, let's start over here back here.
My name is Martin Underwood. My address is 29110 East Wyatt Road, Green Valley, Missouri 64029. I've lived out here 26 years. When you put 150 homes in my backyard, there's not going to be enough pumps to pump that water down to Green Valley or anywhere else. There is no open sewers there. There are not going to be any either. Let's don't get hoodwinked. 150 homes? Okay, that's a lot of homes. But that don't include the 220 across the street that Larkin's going to build. Where are you going to put all that water? Gonna run it down to Litchford? Down to those people down in the valley, and it'll flood them all out? These people don't care. They're going to come in here. Last time we were here, the developer was even under question in Kansas City on their practices. You probably heard about it. We're not against development, but who's going to pay for the infrastructure? You know, originally when Larkin did the Hoot Owl across the street on south of Wyatt, Ron Fowler got them to agree that they were going to do both sides of the road, the south and the north side, before they started development. Did we all forget about that? I guess we did. But that's what the original agreement was with Ron Fowler and Susan Culpepper when the other mayor was in charge. We're just concerned. We don't want tiny houses. I've lived in tiny houses. I've been out here. I worked hard. I have 10 acres. Most of these people have probably 5 acres up to 100 acres or more. We live out here because we like it. And we're concerned our property values are going to plummet. I can guarantee you they will. You put it, my driveway is at Litchford and Wyatt. You're going to put 800 cars past my driveway in a day. You figure everybody has at least 2 cars. Some of them have children. They're going to go out of the house at least 3 to 4, 5 times a day. Do you want 800 cars going by your house? I don't think so. I've said my piece. There's other people who's going to say theirs. Thank you for your patience and allowing me to speak.
Thank you as well.
My name's AJ Ollie. Address is 29910 East Harris Potts, Blue Springs, Missouri 64029. I'm 2 parcels away in certain sections of this development. It's hard enough to get by with the traffic that we do have, which is very minimal to a certain degree. I was driving down the road yesterday. I had to stop so I could have a dually pass me. I heard that they're going to improve the roads in that section, but they're only going to do it in that section. So whatever the frontage of Litchford and White, that's it. They're not, you know, it's like a bottleneck. So you're going to improve one section of it, but the rest of it still has to go in and out. We have a lot of flooding issues down Wyatt. We also have flooding issues off the corner of Harris Potts and Litchford. So this is not going to help the overall area itself. You guys could put in, you know, pumps, this, that, and the other, but nature's nature. Water's going to flow down. So who's ever downhill from us, they're going to get flooded. The infrastructure that's there, even going down to Colonial on Wyatt Road, where the new developments happen, the road hasn't been improved. That development's been there for a very long time. The roads are very choppy, to say the least. I've hit it quite a few times, forgetting that it's so bad. So if you were to go down Litchford, which is even worse, so you're avoiding a pothole to hit another pothole. And I understand that that's not the city's responsibility, but you're still sending the cars down that road. God forbid there was an accident. There's only one way, basically one way in and one way out. And that's if you're coming towards Blue Springs. If you take Litchford, go out to Colburn, same scenario applies. Every time we get a heavy rain on the bottom of Cook Road, I believe, and Wyatt, it floods there. So all these additional cars, all these additional people are going to have an issue with the infrastructure there. The schools. If you're ever to go down to Mason Elementary, which is right down the street, that's where some of these kids are going to be going to. The roads are blocked, especially when they're coming in and out of school. They're literally blocked. You can't get an emergency vehicle through it. We're going to add more kids to it. There's going to be more traffic. And we have to see the upside of it somewhere. I understand this is a business, but still, you know, a lot of people's livelihoods are at risk. Then as far as Wyatt itself, in front of Chapman Farms, when it snows, it's a 1-lane road. There's no 2 lanes there. You guys could tell me differently, we drive it. If you want pictures, I could prove it. You know, I can show you guys pictures that literally 1 lane is working. So we had to take the risk of going up that hill and hope that nobody else is coming down it, because the city is not doing enough to be able to keep up with it. So how do we add in more cars and that safety is not going to go right out the door? Thank you.
Thank you.
I have some show and tell. Pictures sometimes speak louder than words. Mr. Mellon said that I couldn't use the screen, so I bring them to you to look at. And my name is Karen Evans. I live at 29614 East Harris Potts Road. Ms. Fry has repeatedly stated that this development is in line with the city's comprehensive plan. However, the plan very clearly cautions that proper planning, investment in infrastructure, a natural resource analysis, etc., are essential before expanding development, especially to the south. If you refer to pages 58, 33, 89, and 62, and there are more, on the city's development plan, it is quite obvious that even with the changes that CJR has been willing to make, this development is quite premature in the area. But since the city is so invested in pushing forward, here's a little sales pitch for you. You will love it at Sullivan Ranch in South Blue Springs. Your development is surrounded by quaint country roads. No matter that they don't have shoulders, no sidewalks, no proper drainage, but they really only flood when it rains. The roads are quite narrow. And again, that is only an issue if there's traffic or if farm equipment, buses, or trucks are using them. The mayor says that road improvements are in progress somewhere in Blue Springs. You know, this area has only been part of the city since 2004. So the city hasn't had much time to improve the infrastructure. Meanwhile, don't worry if you end up in a ditch. You have friendly neighbors who own tractors, and they'll pull you out. You will also love the Blue Springs schools. They're outstanding. Well, actually, more than half of the children of the development will attend Lee Summit schools, but they're great too. And even though all the schools are overcrowded, the dedicated teachers will do all they can to help your children learn. And I know this because I've worked both in Blue Springs and Lee Summit districts. Finally, your developers, CJR Builders, may not have a stellar reputation, but the owner will assure you that it's a great company with nothing to hide. According to him, the company's development in Kansas City is only for 1 year, even though newspaper articles say differently. But subcontractors are to blame for that issue. And besides that, you will greatly appreciate CJR's flexibility, especially as it relates to the boundaries and property lines, as you can see on my photos. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Who's next?
My name is Adam Kriz. I live at 30404 East Litchford Road, Grain Valley, Missouri. I'm at the valley that they're talking about that always floods. I'm one of the closest houses to that. So from Cook Road all the way to Colburn on the Litchford and Wyatt stretch, it's 2.8 miles. Right now, we have 60 homes on that stretch. In the last year and a half, there's been 6 people move because of the development that's being proposed with Hoot Owl and now this one. And while that may not sound like a lot or a big deal, but that's 10% of our population that has moved out. That's a lot of people for one little area. The 2 main entrances, it's already been spoke about, but they come out to the same road. It's 2 different names, but the same road, so it's not much you can do there as far if one gets blocked. And as far as the bald eagles that Blue Springs is so proud of, if you keep building, they're all going to leave. So, thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Good evening. We're 2 separate speakers, but we're a duo today. So,
Okay.
My name is Whitney Huddleston. I'm from 3500 East Litchford Road. I'm actually right in the valley by Adam. We just moved in a couple of months ago. I'm a nursing director in our community, and more importantly, a mom to a couple little cuties in here. We share our home with dogs and cats and soon-to-be chickens, and that's what the country does to you, right? I'm here because I'm concerned about the proposal directly beside the long-established farmland and rural homesteads. For me, it isn't just theoretical, it's also personal. A few months ago, we moved in here and we were very intentional with that choice to leave Lee Summit City behind and move to the country. We wanted a space to breathe, quiet nights, a community that values the land and the people who work in it. I didn't move here despite the farmland and homesteads, but I moved here because of it. I want to live somewhere where seeing a tractor on the road isn't inconvenience, but it's simply part of a rhythm of life. When the girls saw a tractor for the first time several weeks ago, they were like screaming and running outside the house, and they were so excited because you don't see that in Lee Summit in the suburbia. And so it's been such a joy the last few months to live there and to build the community and just have the smell of just fresh, soil, livestock, whatever it was a choice to move here. And that's rural character, sorry, I'm nervous. Across the country, but we've seen what has happened, right? If you look up any article and you search of when dense suburban neighborhoods or HOA controlled communities are built right next to working farms and homesteads, There are countless news stories that you all definitely can look up to show the same pattern: conflict, complaints, pressure on farmers to change or even shut down their operations. There are studies from University of Florida's Extension showing that suburban encroachment almost always leads to disputes over noise, odors, dust, and other normal practices. We've seen real-world examples of where HOAs have tried to intervene with farms that existed long before neighborhoods were built. This is the conflict that we're inviting here. You know, farms start early, homesteads start early, even a few chickens, they start early, right? We run late, we make noise, we spread fertilizer, manure, they create dust. There aren't nuisances, the reality of food production. But when new residents move in expecting suburban quiet, manicured lawns, they often will push back. They'll file complaints, they'll demand restrictions. Farmers end up caught in the middle. You know, even our first week, we had shooting lessons from 3 doors down that were like, what is that noise? That will stop. Hunting will stop. Things will stop because there will be complaints. And beyond that, there's just so much impact that my neighbors have shared today. And I'm running out of time, but basically I'll get to the point. We moved here to escape exactly what they're proposing. And, you know, I come from a very healthcare driven world, but I know a good business proposal when I see one. I've been in part of multi-million-dollar construction, and the person that presented that tonight, I had no confidence in. And that's not for a personal conflict, that's a business side sharing. So I invite you to come see our space. We only have 3 acres, our neighbors have a lot more, but it's our home. You're welcome to come and see what we're talking about and stand with all of us.
We'd love to hear from the younger one if they'd like to speak for a minute.
Wait, I have to say it?
Yeah, you have to say it.
Oh. My name is Parker Huddleston. Wait,
Hello,
I have
Parker.
to say my
Address, yeah.
Can you say it?
Right here.
Oh, 30500 East Litchford, Green Valley, Missouri. Hi, my name is Parker. Me and my family live close by on the land where you want.
It's okay. Hey, it's okay.
It's all right, Parker.
Hey, you did great. I'm proud of you. Hey, I'll finish it. Hey, I got it. So, we're the land where you want to build a new neighborhood. We love our home because it's quiet, safe, and full of nature. We're a little bit worried that adding all of the houses might change the peacefulness, the quality of the land, and we want to make sure that it's quiet and a safe place. Please think about the families already here, including animals and our way of living. Thank you for listening.
Good job, Parker.
She wrote that herself.
Thank you, both of you. Anybody else? Good job, Parker.
Thank you, Parker. That took a lot of courage. My name's C.O. West. I am at 29605 East Major Road. We are the property that abuts the northwest corner on the western edge. I'm here because I, like the previous family, we moved out here to get my family away from exactly what is being designed. That's what we came from, and that's what we're trying to leave. And to see it coming literally feet from where we broke ground on building our house is exceptionally discouraging. There's a creek that you can see on the land that runs right through my property. All this water, the creek barely holds it when there is a exceptionally large amount of rain. You've heard from everybody from the more eastern side and from the west side. That's going to run right through my house and overflow right into my basement. And I don't believe that's fair to my children who've been looking forward to this for really their entire lives. Their grandparents live in a rural area like we're experiencing here, and this would absolutely take that away from them. Other than the concerns, you've heard about the roads, exceptionally concerned about that. My family, we currently have to roll down our window to make sure to listen for traffic as we come through because of the current road conditions. Adding, I think somebody estimated 800 cars coming by in a day, that problem is only going to get worse. You're going to see more accidents, you're going to see more fatalities, you're going to see loss of life because of this. The nature and the wildlife is an exceptional concern. The eagles, they will go away when their food supply goes away. Adding more people, adding light pollution, adding noise pollution, those are not conditions that are conducive for those types of animals, let alone the deer, the turkey, everything else that calls this area home and thrives off the open spaces. The trespassing on my property, I'm considerably concerned about. They talked about shortening the easements from 30 to 25 feet. That may not sound like a whole lot, but when you start packing that many people in that type of space, my land is exceptionally wooded. We've tried to keep it that way. We had Missouri Conservation Department out just last month to see how we could further increase the animals' habitat. How can we be good stewards of this land that we have been blessed to be a part of? And how do we keep that apart? And none of their recommendations included adding 151 homes and 151 families in that small of an area. Trespassing, like I said, it's wooded. There's a lot of really fun, cool things. What is the city, what is the developer's plan to keep those people off my property and keep that liability out of my pocket? If somebody trespasses and walks over, trips on a log, falls and hurts themselves, who's responsible for that? I haven't heard anything in regard to that. Every property that borders that should be very concerned about that. And that, just in closing, again, reiterating Parker's comments, this is a place where kids can come and experience something that they can't experience any place else in the city, and that's what this and the current rules and regulation are about, and we would like to keep them that way. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience who would like to speak in opposition to this project?
Can I ask a question real quick?
Right. Go ahead, ma'am.
I just wanted to know if the Wyatt extension, that improvement, is that hard?
With all due respect, it's not a question and answer session. I think staff heard your question. We'll do our best to address that when it comes back up here. 3 minutes, the floor is yours.
Well, I probably won't take 3, but my name is Nancy Hatfield. My husband is Mark. We've lived at our current spot at 28904 East Wyatt Road for 43 years now. We bought it right after we got married. Nobody around us. Pig farm across the road. That was fun. And I think a house on the corner, maybe an old one, and then Wyatt Farm up the hill that now is Chapman Farms. Our house was built pre-1900. It's a very, very old house that has been updated, money pit, really. But it sits very close to Wyatt Road. Super concern of ours, of course, is if this road is widened, is it gonna be in my front yard? Because right now, I have, I think, like 40 feet. Because it was so old, people built on the old gravel roads, and so we didn't have that opportunity. But also, something I'd like to add, as a member of the county all these years, I don't consider myself not a citizen of Blue Springs. I taught school in Blue Springs for 30 years. I grocery shop in Blue Springs. I eat fast food sometimes in Blue Springs. I'm a member of the Blue Springs Fitness Club. And I'm just wanting our two entities to work together, because I do understand that building is progress, building is tax money, but we have a life out there and we love our neighbors. No one was around us at the time. Then a house got built 3 acres over, and a house got built behind us 5 acres over, and we became a community. And I think what we're all saying here is we don't want it to go away. And we really appreciate, like, I can't remember who it was, invited you out. You are welcome to come out, knock on doors, and see how we live and where we live and where we've lived for a very long time. So I think that's my plea. Thank you for your time. Got 39 seconds left.
Thank you, and good evening. Anybody else? Seeing none and hearing none, I will close the public comment section of this public hearing. Any final additions from staff? and then we'll see if we have any more questions for staff.
I have nothing further.
Talk to us about the roads. Can we clarify the roads a little bit more? Can you go into a little bit more detail about which ones will be half done versus all done?
So Wyatt Road will be completely done, full road improvement, multimodal use trail to the south side, sidewalk on the north, half road improvement on South Litchford, because Hudal is responsible for their half. And then the half road improvement on Harris Potts, because we can't make a developer fully do a road that's not adjacent to their property. And that's county to the south of that.
So, I'm sorry.
So she said Wyatt Road, are you talking Wyatt Road extension or all of Wyatt Road?
The extension, the part that's on their property.
So let's clarify what part of Wyatt Road you're talking about. You're not talking about all of it, like the road that runs in front of Nancy and.
No, all the roads I'm discussing are all that's related to the project itself.
It's the roads that touch the neighborhood, correct?
Yes, and all the internal, so.
Of course,
yes.
right.
And that is common practice with all subdivisions that we do.
Right. I had a problem with it before because it was the half road issue. I'm having a problem with it now because it's the half road issue. It's a very common theme that we've heard. To whatever extent you or legal or any staff from the past can comment on any previous arrangement was probably just a one-time arrangement between the city council person and the applicant at that time. Can we get any kind of clarification on what we heard tonight about that? In the sense that that was in the past and it's nothing moving forward, correct?
Well, Hoot Owl has not developed yet.
Right.
They're still working on public improvements.
I'm referencing, I forgot your name, Mitch?
Marty.
Marty, his comment about the, I got it. The agreement that was made with previous Councilman Ron Fowler and one of the other developments.
Yes, and that was for the Hoot Owl Meadows.
It was for Hoot Owl.
Yes, and so as of right now, they haven't done any development, and so we can't force them to go and do their public improvements until they are ready to. There's not even been approval of a final plat, and so in order for us to fully accept those public improvements, they would have to be ready for a final plat also, and so they haven't done any development. They might have moved some dirt and done some grading work, but they have not started
They're not
development.
moving forward with building.
Not yet
Digging
anyways.
holes, right,
Yeah.
right. Okay.
And unfortunately, we can't put a time limit on
Understood.
the developers to
And
do
then
that.
what's the time limit if an applicant just never proceeds on a project? It expires after 2 years? 1 year?
I believe it's, Nick, is it 2? It's 2 years.
2.
It's my understanding from what I hear you say that the way you're going to handle the roads is the way the city always handles the roads.
Absolutely.
There's nothing different about what you're stating tonight, is that correct?
That is correct.
And under what authority does that come? I mean, what have we worked under all these years to do it that way?
UDC, the Unified Development Code.
Okay, and that's in black and white?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Has there been any other time that we know of? I'll discard that question. Anything else? I see wheels turning. The public comments is over. I'm going to go ahead and allow your comment. You had your chance, and next time I would just recommend that you come up when you have your chance to speak. But go ahead, and I'll give you.
I just want to make sure everybody's clear. I live across.
Sir, you need to come up. And I need to open back up the public comment section. I'll open that up officially, and go ahead.
I just wanted to clarify for everybody. So I live across the street from Hoot Owl. So the Hoot Owl half of my road will be done, but my half of the road will not be done at all. So I wanted to be clear that there's a big stretch of Wyatt Road where it's going to be half finished and half like it is right now. Okay.
We're aware of that.
Okay.
Yes, we are. That's the main thing we've been discussing. All right, anything else up here for staff? Anything else from the applicant? You want to address anything that you've heard tonight?
Unless, council has, any comments or any questions, we can address those.
You heard what they said. It's your option if you want to come up and address anything or not. It's either way.
I think we're all right.
Okay. Any discussions or comments up here amongst us? And to keep formality, I'll go ahead and close the public comment section again. Any thoughts amongst us or statements? All right, I will close the public hearing. It is now closed, and I'll ask for a motion on the rezoning portion.
Chair?
Yes.
I move to approve RZ 02269805 with the conditions staff presented.
I have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
And a second. Tracy, get a roll call, please.
Yes. Commissioner Stokenberry?
Aye.
Commissioner Richel?
Aye.
Commissioner Cradoff?
No.
Commissioner Howell?
Aye.
Commissioner Ingersoll?
No.
And Chairperson Henning?
No.
We have a tie.
So the motion does not pass.
It does not pass. All right, that item will be recommended and heard by the City Council. They'll have the final say on this project at their meeting on Monday, April 6th, here in this room 2 weeks from tonight. And I will now ask for a motion on the general development portion of this plan.
Chair?
Yes.
Move to approve GDP 02269806 with staff conditions.
I'll second it.
A motion and a second. Roll call, please, Tracy.
Commissioner Richel?
Aye.
Commissioner Cradoff?
No.
Commissioner Howell?
Aye.
Commissioner Ingersoll?
No.
Commissioner Stokenberry?
Aye.
Chairperson Henning?
No.
All right.
Again, that does not pass. It was a tie. This item will be recommended and heard by the City Council at their next meeting 2 weeks from tonight in this room, Monday, April 6th at 6 p.m. And now I'll ask for a motion on the preliminary plat.
Chair?
Yes.
Move to approve PP 02269807 with the staff conditions.
I got a motion. How about a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Can we get a roll call, please?
Yes, of
Instead of,
course. Yeah.
thank you.
Commissioner Cradoff?
No.
Commissioner Howell?
Aye.
Commissioner Ingersoll?
No.
Commissioner Stokenberry?
Aye.
Commissioner Richel? Aye. Chairperson Henning?
No.
All right.
All right. And that also is a tie, so it does not pass, and that will be moving on to the next item. I will open the public hearing for agenda item number 6, which is the General Development Plan GDP 12-259749 for McAtee Village with the preliminary plat PP 12-259750 being heard concurrently. This time I will ask for exhibits from our city attorney.
Mr. Chair, we have 5 exhibits to enter into the record. The first is the staff report. Second is the publication affidavit. Third is the notification map showing properties within 185 feet. Fourth is the property owner list of those properties within 185 feet. And lastly, we've got the property owner letter that went out to those property owners within 185 feet.
Thank you. I'll ask for staff's presentation. Mr. Logan Day is ready.
Good evening, Commissioners. The item is a request for approval of a general development plan and a preliminary plat for McAtee Village located at 412 Southwest 9th Street. The applicant is proposing a 4-lot subdivision to allow for the development of 4 single-family homes on approximately 0.41 acres within the T3 suburban zoning district of the Downtown Development Code. The proposed development consists of detached single-family homes on small lots, which is appropriate building type within the T3 district. The surrounding properties are also zoned T3 and are developed with single-family homes, so the project is consistent with the existing neighborhood character and supports infill development within the downtown area. The plan meets the standards of the T3 district, including setbacks and building height, and each lot will provide the required 2 off-street parking spaces, and access is being provided by a 20-foot wide private drive from Southwest 9th Street, which will be maintained by the Homeowners Association. Due to the increased drive and fire code and access requirements, the on-street parking will be restricted to be accommodated within the garages and on-street parking when available. The applicant is requesting an alternative design standards to allow for front-loaded attached garages to face the street. While this is typically restricted in the T3 district, staff finds the request reasonable, as similar configurations exist in the surrounding area, and the modification does not create adverse impacts related to traffic, safety, and/or neighborhood care or compatibility. Utilities, including sanitary sewer, are available to serve the site. A stormwater report will be required prior to final plat approval to ensure compliance with city standards, and the development is proposed to be done in a single phase. Overall, the preliminary plat meets the requirements of the Unified Development Code and General Development Plan, is consistent and compatible with adjacent land uses. Based on this analysis, staff recommends approval of the preliminary plat and General Development Plan, subject to the conditions listed in the staff report. And I'd be happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is here to do so as well. And I also have elevations, I think this one. Yep, so these are just some of what the homes may look like.
Did those elevations go with this project? Because
Yes,
I see how they, like, that one doesn't fly at all, does it?
It looks odd, but all the
Very
garages
nice.
are
But the garage does. Okay.
The garage would face, that's what the alternative design standard is for, to allow for it to face the street.
Okay. Any questions for staff? I've got a few, but anybody have questions?
Yeah, I do. What map are we looking at? Because the one that we have here and this one.
That's for the other project. That's for the next one.
It's two.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, they're both connected.
No,
Yeah.
okay.
No, I understand the confusion.
Okay, that's my confusion. All right, so other question now. I'm looking at this right, because I haven't been by this, but this is a fairly small plot of land right there, correct? And it's gonna have one drive in to 4 houses?
Yes.
Okay.
Similar properties in that location, correct?
So primarily on that street are just single family homes. This is a relatively new concept to Blue Springs, but they all fit setback standards and building standards for the downtown area. They're just proposing a private drive and then the 4 houses off of those.
Tell me, go ahead.
The big, large lot of green space that is between the houses, is that part of, not village, but part of Meadows, or?
Are you, where are you talking about?
So between 9th and Southwest 7th?
He's looking at a current map.
Yeah, I'm looking at
Like at Google Maps.
Oh.
There's big green space in between those houses.
This one?
Yeah.
This is not owned by the applicant.
Okay, so that's staying, it's just.
Yeah, it would just be this site.
Oh, okay. Wait a second.
Mm-hmm. Just that.
Property should be right there, right?
No.
No?
That one is this
Oh,
one.
there's 9th, okay. Yeah, all right. Now I'm following.
Any questions to lead after all that?
Nope.
Did we all follow that?
All that for, okay. Any questions down here?
Have there been any stormwater issues in that area prior that you know of?
No, but that is why they will have to have a stormwater report done before final plat approval.
Any opposition letters?
No, we have not received any.
Will you reiterate the parking uniqueness of this? I'm struggling with the parking.
Yes,
go ahead.
Yeah, so originally it was a 20-foot drive, but due to fire code and access, whether that be, so fire code dictates that they have to be 24 feet wide, and that cut down on their usable driveway, which is about 11 feet, which, I mean, I can't speak for what an average car is, but would not fit, so.
11 feet long?
Yeah, for the driveway. So the parking will be accomplished through the garages, the attached garages, and on-street parking.
All right, so if cars are parking in an extra short driveway and the car is sticking out.
That'd be done by that'd be mandated by
it'd
HOA.
be self-managed, but
Yeah.
it's a tiny HOA, there's only 4 there.
Yeah.
So really, it'll be self-managed and it could go on for a long time. That's my biggest struggle here is the parking situation and the driveways that are so short. And also, why a private drive? I noticed it's a private drive on this project and the next one with the same applicant, or maybe that's a question. For
Yeah, I could let
Okay.
the applicant speak to that.
Okay. Is there any yard area? I'll just clarify.
So I mean, the setback requirements for T3 zoning district are a 10-foot and
Okay.
then 5 all around.
Okay.
So they meet all of that. Lot 3 and 4 might have a little bit more of a yard, but
Gotcha.
they meet all the required building standards.
All right. Any other questions for staff before we hear from the applicant?
Is there a house there now?
Yes, and that will be torn down.
And these 4 are gonna be on one lot,
Yeah.
correct? Okay, it's okay.
Just a different concept.
Yeah. That's all.
All right, is the applicant here? Would like
Yep.
to talk about the project.
Thanks. My name is Chad McAtee, owner of RC McAtee Construction, applicant and builder of the project. So the goal here is the Downtown Master Development Plan in its origination 15, 20 years ago was to incorporate more housing in the downtown area. And by doing that, it was to create smaller lots, smaller setbacks so that houses could be closer together, et cetera. The opportunities for those don't exist very often based on economics. And this is a opportunity to incorporate it for the first experience to maybe lead to future experiences. The reason for the private drive, that question was asked. I guess to be straightforward, I must have missed that I'm requesting alternative design standard, which would say the garages can face the street, because the purpose of doing a private drive was to eliminate having to do an alternative design standard. That was only, my understanding was that was only for city streets. So by having it as a private drive, that would eliminate any concerns of a garage facing the street. That being said, the house plans that are proposed all fit within the criteria. The lot sizes fit within the criteria. The street is the width that it is, which is in a couple of people's eyes, shortening up the depth of the driveway because of code requirements for the street width. So, we're giving up something here to gain something there. As far as what is being perceived as a small lot and putting 4 houses on it, mathematically, everything works based on code. So if our goal is to abide by the master downtown development, this is one of the objectives that we're going to run into, not just now, but in the future, is taking what people perceive as a standard lot and compressing it to get more density in it, which is the goal of the plan.
Okay, any questions for the applicant?
I would also give you this visual as well. It's no different than a cul-de-sac scenario in an urban subdivision.
Well, a cul-de-sac offers lots of different dynamics than just a straight-in street, right?
It's public.
I mean, in its essence, it's
Public, you can drive around, turn around, and
sure.
It has an official street name. It's registered with the state.
May I ask that you pull up the diagrams again of the homes? Was there a third one, I think? Didn't we see a third one?
Well, that one there is not gonna be built correct because you have to do you're doing the ones with the garages.
No, this is a potential, so the original idea is to build, by the way, this is a house that I already built on 16th Street near Vesper. This has a detached garage. The only alternative would be that it would have an attached garage with a side entry.
Gotcha.
Which technically the lot 1 and lot 2, those driveways are not needing any variation because that's allowed. It's the lot 3 and lot 4 because those houses are actually facing the street. Therefore, the garage is facing the street as well. But we just did that on 15th Street. If you've driven down 15th Street north of B Street, the first house that was proposed as a visual is the one that's currently being built on 15th Street, where we have a front-loaded garage facing a public road.
all right. Thank you very much. Anything else? All right. What I heard is that some of the requirements or design standards are different when it's a private road versus a public road. What is different?
So the reasoning for putting that standard in there is in the event the city was, say Chad goes on, sells property, property comes to the city and the city has to take over the drive, the houses don't go into a legal non-conforming. They already have that alternative design standard, so they already are conforming, so they don't have to come back for anything. And it goes off the zoning for it.
So that's not a benefit of the private drive.
This is in the event that
Right.
to
I'm
move
still
on.
trying to grasp my head around, and I'm not expecting anybody to change my mind, but I'm still just grappling with the fact that a private drive, and it's only a subdivision or HOA of 4 homes. The builder developer moves on from this project or moves away, and if things aren't set up correctly, then things fall apart, and we've got a private drive that isn't constructed to the same standards as a public road.
Correct.
And then it's a headache for the city, and
The only part that would be constructed to city standards would be this portion.
right, and that's my point, is the rest of it won't. That's my only withhold on this project. Yeah, stated publicly. Anybody else?
I guess if there are issues, are we saying that the city cannot come in and take care of that private drive at all?
The city does not plow, does not maintain that roadway. It is a issue and responsibility of the HOA on those 4 homeowners to plow it, to sand it, to salt it, to repair it, to fix the potholes, to replace it, to overlay it, every bit of that. Did I misstate any of that?
No.
Okay.
Do you think there'll be a problem with that at some point?
I don't think, I just don't like it in the sense that it could be a problem when the majority of other roads are public roads. And I don't understand the reasoning behind a private drive versus a public drive. I think it's the city's best interest and the homeowner's better interest to have a public road that is maintained publicly along with everything else. Having been in real estate for decades, I've seen some private drives and 10 or 15 years down the road, and they run into issues. So that, and I can name a few right here in Blue Springs. So that's my struggle.
How can we circumvent that? Can you think of any ways that?
Deny the project or place a requirement that it be a public road instead of a private.
Do you think that? How would you proceed with that if you made that decision?
I'm kind of getting it in front of, you know what, let's go ahead and table that and let's move on with the public hearing and do public's opposition, and then we'll circle back to that, Commissioner Cradoff. All right. Anybody in the audience who would like to speak in favor of this project? Seeing none, hearing none. Any in the audience who would like to speak in opposition to this project? Seeing none and hearing none. I will close the public comment section of the public hearing. Anything else from staff?
No.
Okay. Now I'll bring it back up here.
Proceed, because I think this project, it's good that somebody's trying to do something in that area, for sure.
I agree, and I love development of all kinds and any kind.
So how could we possibly create some stipulations, as you mentioned?
If it was a public road, would it be the same dimension?
I believe it would have to be wider, but that would have to go through a separate review criteria by an engineer.
Therefore, in itself, could be a reason why the developer chose to go private. Is there a cost differential, or is that a question for the developer?
Can I answer that?
I would go to the applicant. I'll just go ahead.
I'm not.
Yeah, I'll give you the floor. Yeah, you can go ahead and address the stuff that.
I don't know that I have a direct answer, but I would assume, and you guys can correct me, that the difference between a private drive and a city public street would be curbs and those type of elements.
Yep.
Right? Which increases economic cost.
So does it cost more?
Correct.
So is there a way to, I should probably know the answer to this, but to require code for a private drive on maintenance?
So the private drive would be maintained by the HOA.
I know, but is there a way for the city to enforce?
Then to make it a public. That's the only solution.
Yeah.
That's the only
Yeah.
solution. Okay.
That is the
I
only-
didn't know if
yeah.
there was a way for the city to be like, the
city's
road
not-
starts cracking, we're gonna find the HOA or the builder, like a codes violation type scenario.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, we wouldn't enforce the HOA. Like that would be all
Gotcha.
done by a HOA.
like, I love the idea. Like,
Right.
I do.
All right. Anything else up here? I will close the public hearing. Any further discussion?
I just wish there was a better way to enforce that private drive, like.
Well, it doesn't, the city does not, my understanding, and please correct me, the city does not govern or oversee or.
Well, yeah, no, I understand that, I just wish there
private
was
drives.
a way.
I think the way is public.
Yeah.
All right. Having said and heard all of that, public hearing is closed. If there's not anything else from up here, I will ask for a motion.
I need to ask one last
Yes,
question.
yes, please.
Have we heard the city say they're not interested in doing this as a public street? Have we
I
heard
don't
them
think
say
it's,
that?
correct me if I'm wrong, but it's not the city's position to say. It's our position and the city council, because this goes before them as well.
Okay, I didn't think I'd heard anything.
If they had a big problem with it, I'm assuming it would have been before it came to us.
And they recommended approval for it.
Correct.
Yep. I would just envision that as just, it's a large driveway. It's you're my house, you know, although there's four neighbors in that same, you're my house.
You're working together as a group.
Yes. And I understand your concerns with the ongoing maintenance in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just, are the homeowners going to expect Blue Springs to plow? You know?
No, they won't and can't, and it's.
Well, what they won't and can't, what are they gonna do?
Well, it's not our job to get into that.
Yeah,
It's
that's
a
fair.
issue of buyer beware that they do their homework.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right.
Chair, I'd make a motion.
Yes.
I would, are we doing GDP first? Or what would you like first, sir?
We are now hearing the JDP portion of it, and the preliminary will come next.
Okay, then I would make a motion to approve GDP 12259749 with the staff conditions.
I have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
I have a second. And a roll call, please.
Commissioner Howe,
Aye.
Commissioner Ingersoll,
Aye.
Commissioner Stokenberry,
Aye.
Commissioner Richel,
Aye.
Commissioner Cradoff,
Aye.
Chairperson Henning.
No. That motion carried, and will be heard and recommended by the City Council at their meeting Monday, April 6th at 6 p.m. I'll now ask for a motion on the preliminary plat portion.
Chair?
Yes.
Move to approve preliminary plat PP 12259750 with staff conditions.
I have a motion and a second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. All right, moving on, public hearing. I will open the public hearing for agenda item number 7, GDP 12259747 for McAtee Meadows with the preliminary plat being heard concurrently. I will ask for exhibits from our city attorney.
Mr. Chairman, we again have 5 exhibits to enter into the record. The first is the staff report. Second is the publication affidavit. Third is the notification map showing property owners within 185 feet. Fourth is the property owner list of those properties within 185 feet. And lastly is the property owner letter that went to property owners within 185 feet. Thank you.
Thank you, and it looks like Logan is ready for another staff presentation.
Good evening, Commissioners. This item is a request for approval of a general development plan and preliminary plat for McAtee Meadows located at 707 Southwest South Avenue. The applicant is proposing a 12-lot subdivision to allow the development of 12 single-family homes on approximately 0.92 acres within the T3 suburban zoning district of the Downtown Development Code. The proposed development consists of single-family residential, which is consistent with the surrounding neighborhood to the north, south, and west, while maintaining compatibility with the nearby commercial uses to the east. The project aligns with the comprehensive plan's neighborhood area designation and supports the continued reinvestment within the downtown area. The plan meets the standards of the T3 district, including lot layout, setbacks, and building height. Each lot will provide the required 2 off-street parking spaces. The applicant is requesting, again, that alternative design standard to allow for front-loaded attached garage facing the street. Staff finds the request reasonable given the existing development pattern in the area and that does not create adverse impacts related to safety or compatibility. Access to the development will be provided via a private drive from Southwest 7th Street Terrace, which will be maintained by a homeowners association as part of the project. The applicant will complete half-street improvements, including curb and gutter along Southwest 7th Street Terrace and a 5-foot sidewalk meeting ADA standards along both Southwest 7th Street Terrace and Southwest South Avenue. Utilities, including sanitary sewer, are available to serve the site. A stormwater drainage report will be required prior to final plat approval to ensure compliance with city standards, along with additional technical requirements such as site distance at the proposed drive connection. The development is proposed to be developed within a single phase. Overall, the preliminary plat meets the requirements of the Unified Development Code, and the general development plan is consistent with the comprehensive plan and compatible with the surrounding land uses. Based on this analysis, staff recommends approval of the general development plan and preliminary plat subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report. And again, I'm happy to answer any questions, and the applicant is here to answer any questions.
Thank you, Logan. Any questions for staff? All right.
I got one.
Yep.
Have we addressed this with the Shrine or American Legion, whoever owns that building now, Jerry, on cut through?
Are you talking about up here?
Yeah.
They were within the 185 foot. A letter was sent to them, and we heard nothing back.
Because I know you could get to Southwest 7th from there, so I think. Okay, that's all I got.
Yeah, we didn't hear anything back.
Would the applicant like to speak on their project?
I mean, I can. It's basically a larger version of the previous.
Okay. Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in favor of this project? Anyone in the audience who would like to speak in opposition to this project? Seeing none and hearing none, I will close the public comment section of this hearing. Any final questions for staff up here?
My biggest concern on this one is, I mean, I'm gonna kind of go back to a private drive, because that's what this one is, but.
Same way.
I'm also worried about the density of the houses with people parking on Southwest South and South Terrace, curb parking on the street, because it's not no parking there. And
Oh, here.
yeah, and that's my concern when we're talking these houses, people.
Yeah.
Those are just concerns that I have, is that the off street, I understand there's driveways, there's a garage, like I understand that, but we've seen in several of these like smaller house communities that have access to street parking on the outsides, we've seen a complete cluster of cars lined up, people parking there, and it just creates, I know it's not a very high traffic area, but that's just my concern with, because it's a narrow street as it is.
Right.
Like, if you're in a full-size truck and somebody else in a full-size truck, someone's pulling over the side of the road, which is not a big deal, but when you've got, we got 12 families now running full-size trucks down two small little roads that are already, the roads already suck there.
You gotta have some concern about the emergency vehicles going
Yeah.
over there as well.
Yeah.
So, just to address that, these plans were sent to fire, and we've relocated fire hydrant access, and they've approved and signed off on the plans for fire access.
Yeah, getting back to your comment, I see a lot of 17-foot driveways, 14, and 2 of them are 12, so much bigger.
Yeah,
Much bigger.
that's what I'm saying, like,
I still have the same concerns about the private drive and don't understand the reasoning behind it, but,
I get the private drive,
yeah.
like, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I have a question. I don't know if it's something we can answer here or not. When individuals move into a location like this, you said they have to do their due diligence, I understand. But are they told that this is a private drive? Do they know that? Is that something that we should be concerned about?
I can only answer that question based upon my tenure as a real estate agent, not as a representative of the city.
we can't require them to tell people. Like, unfortunately, and just have to hope that the realtor who's selling the property or renting the property is going to be up forth and honest with them, or that even comes up, I don't know.
Chair.
Yes.
That is usually disclosed during the real estate transaction process when the HOA covenants and restrictions are disclosed to the buyer. And I would also note that the private drive is a common approach to the existing infill row homes that you see in close proximity to downtown. To my knowledge, we haven't had any parking issues with the current configuration of private drives for the existing infill projects. So, you know, and based off of our additional reviews with engineering and fire, we don't anticipate any repercussions associated with this proposal.
Well, thank you. I thought we would have some kind of an obligation.
And fire didn't have a problem with being able to get the fire truck in, turn around on that private drive. There's enough driveway space and stuff for them to maneuver.
Correct. It was sent to CJC and they signed off. That was why the fire hydrant was relocated, so they could service the homes to the north and the south with like no access hardships. And they have a hammerhead for turn in, or when they turn in and back out and turn out.
I noticed that the road is 24 feet wide, is that right?
Correct.
And what is the typical width of a public road? Do you know by chance?
Not off the top of my head.
Okay.
It depends on the determination of the classification of the roadway. Typically, it's 24 to 30 feet.
Okay. All right. All right, anything else up here? I will close the public hearing. And I will ask for a motion for the general development portion of the plan.
I'll do it. Chair,
Yes.
I move to approve preliminary plat.
Nope.
Nope. General development, there we go. Sorry, general development, McAtee Meadows, GDP -12-25 -9747. And was there staff conditions?
Yes.
With staff conditions.
All right, I got a motion
Second.
and a second. Roll call, please, Tracy.
Of course. Commissioner Ingersoll.
Aye. Yes.
Commissioner Stokenberry.
Aye.
Commissioner Richel.
Aye.
Commissioner Cradoff.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Chairperson Henning.
Aye. This passed and will be heard by the city council at their next meeting on Monday, April 6th at 6 p.m. in this room. Was,
Preliminary plat.
Number 10.
yes. Okay, so there's a preliminary plat portion?
Yes.
All right, I would ask for motion for the preliminary plat portion.
Chair. Move
Yes.
to approve preliminary plat for McAtee Meadows PP -12-25 -9748 with staff conditions.
I have a motion, how about a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Stokenberry.
Aye.
Commissioner Sanders, Commissioner Richel.
Aye.
Commissioner Cradoff.
Aye.
Commissioner Howell.
Aye.
Commissioner Ingersoll.
Aye.
Chairperson Henning.
Aye.
Okay.
And that passes, and that too will be heard in 2 weeks?
Yes. No. No, that approved.
That's approved, that's done, okay. That road ends here. That concludes our agenda. Is there any other business? Mr. Howe, do you want to suggest any other business?
Nope, I was just gonna say it's a private road that ends here.
It's a- All right, hearing none, other than the joker next to me, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? This motion is adjourned. Thank you all for coming and for watching online.
See y'all next week.